Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Steve Burns. I am your host for this exciting call. This is our celebration call, which is our Celebrate update call. It is a preview of the call that's going to happen in the United States in about 14 hours, 15 hours. So you all get the privilege of being some of the first to know all of the updates that are happening here at Alovea. So we have our CEO, our visionary CEO, Mr. Sam Castor with us, and he is going to kick us off with the Cellabrate update. Sam, are you with us?
I'm here, Steve. Thanks a lot. And welcome everybody to the call. Great to have you guys with us. Some of you may be new since I've been on one of your calls. Steve mentioned at the very beginning that we are a social business. So what does that mean? Well, technically, what it means is that we're a social benefit corporation in the state of Texas. That's the legal filing for a social business. But what social business is, it's a company that leverages the economic power of the marketplace and the technologies that can change lives. And it leverages that to provide sustainable solutions to the world's biggest problems. And a lot of times, the best practice within the social business arena is called a buy one, give one program. In other words, you find a need in your consumer base that you provide in a unique and efficacious way. And when the consumer buys the product, you get to donate that same level of technology to people in the world that without your intervention would never get access to, in our case, this level of nutritional support. So that's what a social business is. What makes our social business a little bit unique is that even though it's a for-profit company, it is 100% owned and founded by two ministries. One is called Man in Relief, which is a not-for-profit organization that my wife and I started 21 years ago, and an organization called Nations Changers, another not-for-profit from South Korea. And together, we launched this company, Alovea, this past May. We actually bought an existing company, converted it 100% into social business, and then went about the strategic planning of how do we impact the world. So Steve, if you could throw the slides up, we'll get going on that. So this weekend is the official launch of our product that is called Cellabrate. That's why we call it a day to celebrate. Cellabrate's a very unique product technology. I'm going to talk to you just a little bit more about that in just a moment. But we developed it for a couple of very specific reasons, which we'll go into tonight. The thing that I do want to tell you about Cellabrate, it is the most unique, efficacious proprietary technology in all of natural health care. Now that's saying a lot, but I'm going to provide some of the support that substantiates a statement like that. But we use this product and will use it as a way of entering all markets around the world because it supplies the basic need of everybody in the world today that wants to achieve optimal health. Go ahead, Steve, to the next slide. You there, Steve? There you go. Okay, so here is the mission of Alovea, the transformation of global health. Now, why the transformation of global health? Number one, when you talk about social businesses providing sustainable solution to the world's biggest problems, there's nothing bigger than what is going on in global health. It's a disaster. It's not that we don't have healthcare systems around the world, but they're not providing sustainable solutions to the big challenges. I mean, here we are going through a pandemic that nobody really knows how to get their arms around. And the best that science can say is that if you have a good functioning immune system, you have a very minimal risk. So what is everybody looking for? Minimizing their risk. So there's 4 points in our transformation of global health that we think all 4 need to be addressed if you're going to make a true transformation. The first is empowering the public to reduce their risk of chronic and infectious diseases through the most powerful nutritional technologies. So what are consumers looking for? They're looking for the absolute best way to stay healthy. That's pretty important in today's world. I mean, it's always been important, but what this pandemic has brought is a new awareness of how vulnerable we all are. I read an article recently that said, if you think that what we're going through with this virus is difficult, wait till you see drug-resistant forms of bacteria that are coming. It's going to be 10 times worse. Well, it doesn't really matter if it's a bacteria or a virus or a pathogen or a disease of any type. The human immune system is designed to recognize, kill it, and restore your health. So that's what the transformation of global health is providing consumers with the opportunity to take charge of their own lives with the best technologies. Number 2, empowering the disease research community with the best integrative health technologies to help achieve best patient outcomes. So there's a transformation going on in medicine, and we're going to be a part of that. You know, the number 2 killer in America is cancer, for example. And the cutting edge of cancer research is moving away from poisoning, burning, and cutting the body as an effective therapy for cancer. What they're saying is that there's no more powerful mechanism that anyone in science has ever discovered for identifying and killing cancer than the human body, the human immune system. So the cutting edge of cancer research is a new science called immunotherapy. It's exactly as it sounds. It's discovering how the immune system works for identifying and killing cancer, which obviously it's not doing if your immune system is compromised and you manifest and become a clinical event at some point with cancer. But how do you restore that immune function? How do you help the body restore the ability to identify and kill cancer? That's what immunotherapy is all about. It's not toxic, you know, it's not invasive. It's finding ways of helping the body do what it's designed to do. The leading immunotherapist in America, one of the leading, is a Dr. Renee Hurty, and they are monocloning antibodies for cancer. So when the immune system sees a cancer cell, it looks at the antigens, which are actually mean antibody generators that are sticking off the surface of the tumors. Your immune system identifies those, sends that zip code to a B cell. A B cell makes an antibody which goes back, connects to that antigen, and tells the immune system, come kill me. This is a dangerous disease cell. Well, that's not going on very well in a compromised immune system. So they are identifying the antigens, helping to develop, the body develop antibodies, and flooding the system with them. And actually, it's effective. But to maximize the efficacy of immunotherapy, they need a good functioning immune system. And that's where I met Dr. Renee Hurty. She said, I'm looking for a natural product that activates the macrophage. That's the large white blood cell in the system that orchestrates all of the immunomodulatory functions. What activates a macrophage? A sugar or monosaccharide called mannose. So your immune cells have these mannose receptor sites that are looking for disease cells. They all express mannose. And so that's what activates the immune system, not vitamin C, not echinacea. I mean, not that any of those things are bad. They're all good nutritional products. But if you're going to activate the immune system, as Dr. Renee Hurty said, you have got to have a mannose igniter to that receptor site that turns that macrophage on. So she was just beside herself when I showed her the science of our ACE mannan, because that's exactly the mechanism of action. So that's how we help the research community develop nutritional technologies that support cutting edge scientific research and disease treatment. Number 3, empowering healthcare coverage industry to lower the cost of disease management by partnering with them on proactive wellness strategies. So in every country of the world, somebody is paying for sickness, right? It could be the government, could be private industry, like in America, we have insurance companies. And in America, we have a secondary to insurance called health share. And these are all organizations that you pay into on a monthly basis. And if and when you get sick, whether you go to a doctor or a hospital or whatever, they cover the cost of your healthcare. That's the healthcare industry. In countries where they have socialized medicine, that's pretty much the responsibility of the government. But here's the problem. The cost of healthcare is growing at an unsustainable rate, particularly after this year with the pandemic that is going on. And it's unsustainable just means that it will bankrupt every economy in the world if we don't make a shift. So what is our goal? Our goal is to find a way into that healthcare community, those people that are actually, or organizations that are paying for sickness, and open their eyes to a shift in their thinking and their philosophy. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. And then last, but certainly not least, as a social business, we use the social platform of giving to meet the needs of the world's most vulnerable children. That is our buy one, give one, or what we call it, buy one, nourish two, you and a child. To give this advanced technology to children, again, who throughout the world would never get access to this scientifically valid level of nutritional support unless somebody like us started a social business. Okay, Steve, next. So that leads me to the launch, official launch of our product called Cellabrate. It says health begins and ends at the cellular level. So this product was designed to keep us healthy by doing what? Addressing the biggest issues that cause our cells to go bad, that cause them to become diseased, that cause them to prematurely age, that cause them to become little factories for producing viruses. That's what happens to our cells when they get overtaken by poor health conditions. And so what makes Cellabrate so unique is that the technologies that we've built it with are the best in class for the things that cause cellular damage. So let's take a look at that real quick. What are the major risk factors of cellular health? In other words, what causes our cells to go bad? Well, it's not a lot of stuff. It's really just a handful of things. Toxins. Toxins in almost everything you eat, drink, and breathe today. There's a level of chemical exposure that causes free radicals in the cells. And free radicals start attacking your DNA. They start attacking your mitochondria. It's the #1 cause of cancer in your body is toxicity, free radical damage at the cellular level. We know that stress is a big challenge, whether it's physical, emotional, environmental. Stress causes inflammation. And chronic inflammation, according to Time magazine, is the silent killer. Because when your cells become inflamed, they lose the ability to communicate. They no longer can be regulated, for example, by hormones. They can no longer communicate their need for specific nutrients. All of that goes away when it becomes inflamed. And so basically you start starving your cells to death. You start losing all capacity to regulate and bring homeostasis. Poor diet obviously is a major contributor. Too much sugar, again, that's a cause of both oxidative stress, and chronic inflammation. Trans fats, too little of those. Too much bad fat in your diet, those trans fats, because they are causes of chronic inflammation. Too little fiber, too little healthy fat. And even when we try to eat healthy fruits and vegetables, we find that modern farming techniques have robbed them of a high portion of their essential nutrition. So as an article that came out by the USDA, U.S. Department of Agriculture, said just a few years ago, in today's world, it's almost impossible to properly nourish yourself through diet alone. So we know these challenges cause three things. Number one, oxidative stress. That's the breakdown of your cell as a result of oxidation. It's damaging your DNA, damaging your mitochondria, damaging, the enzymes that create a healthy cell. We know that chronic inflammation is a challenge. Both of those contribute to the bullseye. The bullseye is called immune dysfunction. What does that mean? It means your immune system no longer functions appropriately. It starts attacking healthy cells. You might be familiar with the term autoimmunity. What does that mean? It means your immune system is attacking you. It loses the ability to distinguish self from non-self. The second thing that a dysfunctional immune system does is it loses the ability to adequately see damaged and diseased cells. So for instance, your immune system is designed to see cancer. So why do people get cancer? Why does it become a clinical event? Because in those people's bodies, the immune system has become so compromised that it loses the ability to do that. And guys, immune deficiency is the major issue in the world for disease proliferation. Next. Okay, so we have to find nature's most powerful molecules to overcome those challenges. Now, guys, what I'm going to share with you tonight, you cannot find in a standard diet. This is not echinacea, this is not vitamin C, this is not calcium, magnesium, or zinc, and all of those are important. They're all essential nutrients, but those alone will not overcome the biggest challenges that we face in the world today. So, there was a very wise man in the 1600s by the name of Paracelsus. He's the father of pharmacology. And he said, everything that man needs to achieve and sustain health is provided by God and nature. It's the job of science to go find it. That's what we do better than anybody in the world. So let's start with antioxidant protection. Now, we know that vitamins and minerals are antioxidants, but what if you could find the absolute best antioxidant in the world? Something that was 20 times more potent than vitamin C, 50 times more potent than vitamin E, could cross the blood-brain barrier, unlike vitamins and minerals, and offer all the cells in your body maximum protection. That is an extract that actually comes from New Zealand. It is a pine bark extract that not only is patented, but has one more process that makes it more soluble. That process creates an ingredient that is called originol. And that is the premier antioxidant in the world. It is patented, and we own the exclusive rights to it. Why would they give us the exclusive rights? Because of who we are, what our mission is, what we can accomplish. And everybody wants to be a part of a world-changing movement. In the upper right, we talked a little bit about inflammation. The molecule in nature that can lower the biomarkers of inflammation more effectively than any other that's ever been studied is a molecule that comes from the beet. It's called a betalain. And betalins are very effective, by the way, as antioxidants, so you get some extra antioxidant effect. The problem is that these betalins are connected to sugar because beets are full of sugar. So this patented process, number one, extracts the betalain and then separates it from the sugar. Once they separated it from the sugar and looked at the biomarkers of inflammation, it reduced those biomarkers 47%. in diseased patients. I have never seen anything like that. And that's what I spend my life doing, is looking for these kinds of ingredients. This is patented. This belongs exclusively to us because of who we are and what we're doing. On the upper left is our core flagship technology. It's advanced immune support. So we're going to provide good antioxidant support. We're going to, lower the biomarkers of inflammation. But the main thing that we're going to do is we're going to correct immune dysfunction. How do you do that? You have to have an ingredient that activates the macrophage with mannose, and that's what ACE-mannan does. So our Alovea AE, which stands for ACE-mannan extract, is the most potent in the world. There's nothing close to it. Again, it's proprietary, it's unique. It was actually developed by the world's leading expert on ACE-mannan extracts, Dr. Santiago Rodriguez, specifically for this project. Why? Because he knew what we were going to do with it. We were going to provide it to consumers around the world so that we could meet the needs of the world's most vulnerable children. And then finally, we needed a delivery system for this product. We could have put it in a capsule, but then it looks like medicine to a lot of people. And we want universal acceptance. We want children to be taking this. We wanted a functional food ingredient to combine it with, and we found it. We knew that honey was nature's most powerful antimicrobial. That means viruses and bacteria and fungus can't live in honey. But the most potent honey of all honey on the planet comes from New Zealand. It's called Manuka honey. It's about 20 times more antimicrobial than any other honey. And our manufacturer in New Zealand has a way of processing honey to take all the moisture out, protecting all of the bioactive constituents. And he does that so he can make a lozenge out of it. And they make all kinds of lozenges with it. They do put vitamin C or zinc or things like that. People getting sore throats, people trying to reduce cavities, things like that. Well, I looked at Manuka honey powder and thought that is the perfect delivery system to make a chewable out of, because it is a functional food. So we take all of those components, blend it together, and we come out with this product called Cellabrate. Next. And it is the most unique, efficacious, scientifically valid technology in the world. And we make it in two different sizes. The individual bottle for a person that's going to take 2 a day to maintain optimal health, or we put it in a family size bottle for a couple or for a family. Next. We created a strategic relationship with a company in New Zealand that just changed their name to Origin Labs. They moved into a brand new building. They're actually in the process of moving. It's about 8 times bigger than the building they had before. This one could be 125,000 square feet. But there'll be a manufacturer and distribution center. So we don't have to ship the product anywhere once we make it. It's all in the same building. These guys are the company that made Cellabrate, but ultimately they will make all of the products that we have so that we can keep manufacturing for all of Australasia going out of one facility. Right now, their distribution center will provide products to Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, and Japan. Now, before I go any further, let me just say, these guys are turning all these systems on this week. They're moving into their building. They're transporting all of their machinery. They're buying new things. They're turning on the lights. They're trying to connect with our back office so that it's a seamless download every day. Right now, we haven't finished that process, so we send them reports which allow them to manually fulfill orders. So could be a few glitches for a week or two. Just have a little patience with us. Give us a little grace. Give Origin a little grace. They're going to be an incredible strategic partner for us and for all of Australasia. Next. We've also, go back one if you don't mind. We've also opened up distribution into Europe. We've been distributing into Canada for a while through a distribution company called Landmark. And Landmark is in Albany, New York. They will be our distribution center for Canada, Germany, Sweden, United Kingdom, and Israel. All those countries are open now. We'll add in the next few weeks all of the countries from the EU onto this list. Once our volume grows, not much, just a little, we'll probably move distribution for Europe into Europe, like in the Netherlands. It's a good port to send product to and to get distribution all over Europe. But right now we're doing it out of Albany, New York, because they've been set up for us as a vendor. And it's not that far to Europe. So the distribution time is really not too bad right now. Next. Okay, guys, I'm going to talk to you about this. You might think this isn't really relative to us, but by the time I get through telling you what this is, you'll understand the relevance. In this country, we do have insurance. And we do have what is called health share. The difference is insurance is a for-profit model for covering the cost of sickness. And health share is the not-for-profit model. So Christian health share is typically run by not-for-profit ministries. And on the insurance side, you buy a policy. On the health share side, you become a member. The advantage of health share over insurance is that they negotiate cash settlements with the doctors, hospitals, healthcare facilities. And by doing that, they save probably 35 to 50% on the overall cost of healthcare. So it's a big movement in this company. It's been going on for over a decade, and they are closing in on the insurance industry. And because of the pure cost savings for the consumer. I met this company called OneShare, which is sort of a mid-size health share organization, not for profit. And I met them about 6 months ago. And we had a mutual acquaintance that introduced us. And one of the executives from OneShare came over and said, you know, we are trying to distinguish ourselves in this marketplace. We're a mid-size. We'd like to be the biggest. We think we do the best job here in the United States on providing the best services and plans to consumers. But, you know, everybody in the health share business does basically the same thing, right? We cover the cost of sickness and we do it as economically as possible, and we're all not-for-profits. So they said, so what would you do if you were in our shoes? How would you distinguish yourself? And I thought about it and I said, you know what I would do is I would offer your consumer the one thing that nobody in the health share business is really very good at doing. And what do you think all your consumers are looking for? And they thought about it, and the executive said, lower cost. I said, no. No, the one thing that your consumers would prefer over everything else, that they would never have to contact you. Because the only time they have to contact you is when they're sick. They need to go to a doctor. They need to go to a hospital. They need an operation. They need some coverage for a sickness event. I said, so if you could give your customers one thing that they can't get anywhere else, it would be a reduced expectation of when they'd have to see you again. So how do you do that? You protect health. If you would be willing to step off into a new world of wellness, you can distinguish yourself from everybody in the industry. The challenge is actuarials. What would you provide to someone at your expense that could guarantee the savings on healthcare cost would exceed the cost of that intervention? That's the big challenge. And that's why no one in the insurance industry has ever ventured into the market of wellness from being proactive. Sometimes they give a discount for going to a gym or not smoking or something like that. But nobody's been proactive and said, here's a product that will keep you healthy, and we're going to give it to you. It's our investment in your life. So how do you know that you're on the right trail when there's absolutely no actuarial review of any kind of technology like that? Now, so there's three things you can count on. Number one, the science of the technology you're providing. We have the best science for every ingredient that keeps your health healthy, your cells healthy. Number two, the experience of the technology. At Mana Relief, we've been providing this immune support to children for over 20 years. We go into parts of the world where healthcare doesn't exist. And you go into those parts of the world, giving a child the ability to turn on their immune system is the difference between life and death. And we've seen the worst of the worst respond with quality of life impact. I said, so there's nothing you can show me that we haven't seen and we haven't experienced. And so the combination of the science and the experience should give you a very good comfort level of an investment in health. And finally, you can do your own pilot study. You can give a product that I could help you develop to a certain subset of your members and look at their incidence of poor health, look at their overall cost of healthcare, and compare it to your database of 250,000 people. And if it turns out that you save a lot of money, you reduce the incidence of poor health, you improve the recovery times of people who do get sick, I said, wouldn't that be a game changer? And they got so excited. Then they looked at our product line. They said, well, it looks like every product is important. That's just too much. It's too confusing. And I said, actually, I'm starting to work on a product right now that I think could change everything. It's called Cellabrate. And I went through the technologies one by one with their senior management, with their actuarial board. Here's what oxidative stress is, here's how we counter it. Here's the best technology for it. Here is what chronic inflammation looks like. Here's the best technology to lower those biomarkers. Here's the science to prove it. Here's how you can re-engage, optimize someone's immune functionality with the world's best technology for doing it that is being used by the world's leading scientists of immunology. And all of those are in a base of nature's most powerful antimicrobial. And for heaven's sakes, we know our bodies could use some of that in an age of pandemics, because viruses and bacteria and fungus can't live in an antimicrobial environment. And I said, we're going to put all that together. We're going to put it in a chewable so it's universally accepted. Children can eat it, adults can eat it, and it will be the single most important nutritional technology that has ever come into the marketplace. These guys about flipped out. They were like, you mean we could provide that product? How much does it cost? So we talked about that. So here's what we're going to announce tomorrow in the United States. We're going to put out a press release, which is a collaborative effort between Alovea and OneShare. And it's going to be a project called Cellabrate Health. And you'll be able to subscribe to any of their memberships, whether you're single or a couple or a family. And for everybody that comes in through the portal of Alovea, they will receive a 28-day supply of Cellabrate, free, at no charge. So no added expense over what their normal charge is for their programs, and they're going to pay for it. And because we're a social business, they're also going to pay for the donation to a child in need, because they're a ministry too. Now, this is only applicable in the United States, but its impact will go worldwide. And here's why. The first organization that validates that investing in health will lower the overall cost of healthcare will change this industry, guys. I don't really care who's paying for the healthcare in your country. It changes everything. And no one has ever done it before. So this is a huge endorsement for the uniqueness and efficacy of this technology that we call Cellabrate. And that's what we get to bring into the marketplace. It is the single most important product that you could introduce to anybody, anywhere in the world. And just remember, every time somebody consumes it, a child gets the same ingredients through a product that we have called Hope Boost that we deliver through Manna Relief. So I'll just leave you with this. Everybody has to do something to make a living in the world. We are blessed to be able to do this. Thanks for having me on the call. And Steve, back to you.
Well, thanks, Sam. And that was a great presentation. We have a couple other updates that we've had questions on. If you wouldn't mind, Sam, just staying on for another moment. And we talked about currencies in other countries. And that is something that's coming down the road, correct?
Yeah, I mean, to open countries as fast as we can, it's in U.S. currencies. But we are bolting on that capability to our back office as we speak. It may take a few months to get there, but ultimately our goal is to operate in all currencies around the world. We have got approval from a new credit card company that is worldwide that allows us to trade in all currencies. So we're going through the processes of setting that up. Let me just say one more thing about Cellabrate. It will be in every kit that you currently have right now. Some of the products will be substituted, but there won't be any kit that doesn't involve Cellabrate. There'll even be a team builder kit that is made exclusively of Cellabrate, if you want to do that. But as Steve said at the beginning of the call, our long-term goal is to get out of the kit, predetermined kit business and set up volume discounts. So if you buy $175 US worth of product, you get a 10% discount on everything. If it goes to 350, you get a 20%. If it goes to 700 or 750, you get a 30%. Something like that. And then you can pick whatever products you want in any of those three categories, which we think is a better way of servicing our customer base than forcing them to buy a predetermined kit. But you know, that's what we inherited when we bought this company, and we're going to change that as quickly as we can.
Okay, great. Thanks, Sam. And I've got that. I'm going to share this product brochure with all of you so that you can see it. Let me get to my screen share again. And this is the brochure for all of you. So, there we go. So, as you see here, this is the Australian version of the brochure. It's got the wellness assessment in here. Now, some of this is highlighted in pink. It's not going to be in pink in the final version. This should appear in your back office sometime over this weekend, and you'll be able to look this up in the library. This wellness assessment is a great tool for people to use to help guide the individual to make their own choices, which of our products would really help benefit them. And as Sam said, now Cellabrate is featured in the product catalog. It's one of the things there. But as Sam said, it is now going to be in the various kits. You're going to be able to see the Cellabrate kit here, and you're going to be able to see the premium Cellabrate kit, also going to be available starting tomorrow. And then all of the smaller kits will also be featuring Cellabrate. So that's all going to be there as well. So again, you're going to want to look in your library in the back office at the current product catalog as soon as it's updated tomorrow. So we've had a few questions here, and I want to make sure that we get those answered. If you do have a question, feel free to put it in the chat room, address it to panelists, not to everyone, and we will get those knocked out as quickly as we can. So they're asking when Cellabrate will start shipping from New Zealand, Sam.
last week.
Last week. Okay, so you should be getting.
Actually early this week. It's Friday here, it's Saturday there. It started shipping on Tuesday.
Okay, and then the question was, are we moving away from the reboot model?
I think reboot will always be part of the equation. The difficulty of reboot is it's multiple products. And we think that the best way to build a business in today's world is to have a single product that you lead with that all the other products are built around. And so we're not leaving the concept of reboot. We're just creating a front end product that literally everybody should start with.
Okay, and listen, even with Cellabrate, you're still rebooting. You're just rebooting your cellular defense, your cellular protection, because all of the things that Sam mentioned, the pathogens, the toxins, these things that are getting into our bodies. We live on a toxic planet, and cellular defense gets worn down. You're rebooting it with Cellabrate. So reboot is pretty universal. But as far as metabolic reboot, the paperwork is still in there for people to follow the reboot diet, and they can eat in a reboot manner. I know you don't have the food products over there overseas yet, but it still works to follow the program, take the immune, take the limitless, now take the Cellabrate, and you can take your balance and also your daily. And Sam and I are going to be doing, we were going to be doing a talk on daily and limitless this week, but we're going to save that for next week because we've been focused, both of us have been focused on what's going on tomorrow in the US. And again, you folks got the preview here. You're some of the first people in the company to hear a lot of this information. And Sam's going to be doing this again tomorrow as far as the presentation you just saw on our Saturday call at 12 noon Central Time. I know that's very early in the morning. For some of you, it's just past midnight. For Singapore, it's just before midnight. But we're going to be doing the full presentation. But don't worry, I will make sure that Chris and all of you have the link to the recording of that, because that will be recorded and you can all watch it. Next question, for the wellness assessment. If other concerns are filled in, how do we get help for an answer? Well, Chris can help you, Lydia can help you, Carolyn can help you, and of course I can help you. They will all get those questions to me. And anytime there is a concern, I mean, those concerns are typically related to something to do with the immune system, something to do with the endocrine system, something to do with the inflammatory response. You know how to address most of those, and we're going to be coaching you on how to address those as we go forward. Again, our products don't treat, cure, or mitigate any disease, but through proper knowledge of what they can do, what systems of the body they support, we can help people to take better control of their own health. Okay, Dean says weight loss is a good entry point for new members. That's true. And a lot of times when people do start to lose weight, Dean, our fat cells don't just store excess calories for future use. They actually will take toxins out of the blood to protect our bodies and store them. Well, as people lose weight, they don't just lose fat a lot of times, they lose muscle, and that's why following a reboot program can help you keep the muscle and lose the fat. But as that fat starts to dissolve, as the contents of those fat cells start to get into the bloodstream, sometimes you have that effect where you feel kind of like, almost like you have the flu, but you don't, and it's the toxins in your blood. So you have to detoxify yourself. Well, protecting your cells with Cellabrate, having the limitless, having the immune, and especially having the daily during this process, that is going to be important. So we're still able to promote weight loss with our products in a safe manner because you are taking these products to support you in a healthy way while you're losing weight. Okay, and that looks like it's all of the open questions. So I just want to thank everybody for being on. Any closing words, Mr. Castor?
Hey guys, I think we're about to venture into the world of healthcare unlike anybody's ever done it before. I wish I could take every one of you on the trips where we nourish these children with this exact same technology. And you could witness the transformation of the lives of these children. In Mexico, we have a hospital for neurologically damaged children. And again, the impact on those kids is just unbelievable. In Africa, we've launched the sickle cell trials, or they're about to be launched, but we did a pilot study. The #1 genetic killer of children in Africa. And the quality of life impact on those children was just unbelievable. And that's the power of these unique technologies acting in human physiology, unlike anything else that's in our industry. So we got the best. We have absolutely the best business model for rewarding you in ways that you can't even imagine. One of the great articles I read on social business said, wealth is never the objective of a social entrepreneur. It's simply the result or the byproduct of succeeding in their mission. And so our goal is to transform healthcare, provide consumers with the best technologies, and in doing so, meet the needs of the world's most vulnerable children. So listen, guys, thanks a lot for being on the call. Thanks for being part of the movement, the mission, and God bless each one of you.
Thanks, everyone. And Robin, Chris, or Lydia or Carolyn can answer your question. It's a business question. And then as far as somebody did ask, as we close out, what's the difference between Cellabrate and Balance? Cellabrate is supporting proper defense and cellular health, as to where Balance supports the hormones and the endocrine system. And again, I did do a presentation on that, and any of those upline leaders over there can get you a link to watch that presentation. So thank you, Chris Gregory. Thank you. Appreciate that last comment. And this is what Chris wanted to point out. Sam talked about how wonderful it is to get to interact with the children. I have been blessed to get to interact with those children many times, been down there with Sam. And when you reach 20K here, you actually get the chance to go with us. Now, some of that airfare is compensated by the company. You'll have to pay the difference. There is an allotment, but you do get covered as far as your room and getting to go and visit the orphans, transportation once you get to Mexico. We're going to be doing that hopefully by the end of next year, maybe November, Sam, you think? And we're looking forward to that. Hopefully we can coincide that with those of you that hit 80K, so that we could go to Mexico and then stop in Hawaii and have that celebration on your way home to break up the trip to Australia. And then hopefully sometime next year, Sam and I will be doing a tour of Australia. Right, boss?
Right on.
Okay. Blessings, everyone. Thanks for being on. Look forward to seeing you next week.